This is session 2 of the t-shirt quilt making videos. Today we're going to cut the shirts apart, cut the fronts from the backs, cut off the sleeves. We're going to stabilize the design, and then we're going to cut the squares. I'm also going to show you how I combine some of the graphics into one square. So let's get started. Today we're going to cut the shirts apart and stabilize them. I use my cutting mat on top of my ironing board, and that's my work area. So I simply take the shirt, I lay it corner to corner on my mat so that I can get the whole thing on here. I use my 24-inch template. I'm going to cut the sides. Just cut the sides all the way through the sleeve, like that. Scoot it over. The other side from the bottom. This doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to cut the squares later. Oops. So I cut each side. I cut it at the shoulders. Just use my rotary cutter. Template. Okay. So the front was cut from the back. Fold those all, put them over here. Oops, there and in the back. Will be discarded. There are lots of things you can do with the back. If you're looking at YouTube videos, you can cut them into strips, make yarn, crochet. We braid them into rugs. This is a long sleeve one. Do it the same way. Corner to corner. Template from hem, move the template through the sleeve. Now I keep the long sleeves because you can sew those into short sleeve t-shirts and make long sleeve t-shirts out of them, which is pretty neat. Okay. Right up. And then across the shoulders. Okay, and there you have the front of the shirt that we're going to cut the square out of later. Now I'm ready to cut the stabilizer. So I use the 906 fusible. It's 20 inches wide. So I'm going to cut it about 13. Once again, this doesn't have to be precise. Just going to trim it. So I cut it about 13 inches wide. And I'll just cut several of those at a time. I usually try to cut enough for the quilt, and then I don't have to worry about it anymore. As you'll feel as you're working with this, textured on one side. That's the side that's going to stick. Those little beads on there will melt in the heat and moisture in your steam iron. Alright, so I'll cut several. Now you'll notice they're, of course, they're 13 inches by 20 inches, which is going to be quite considerably long. So I'll cut several of these at once. So I'm going to cut them about 13 inches again. So now I have 13 by 13 squares. And what's left over, they're 13 by approximately 7. And I can use 2 of those to make a square. So that's how you cut your stabilizer. So we're ready to start stabilizing now. The fronts have all been cut from the backs. So you're going to lay your shirt with the graphic down on the ironing board. My iron is set at the hottest temp. This is my work iron, so you can see it's not very clean. It gets, you probably need a separate iron if you're going to do this much because it gets sticky on it. And with lots of steam in it, so it's full of water. So So I'm going to take one piece of the stabilizer. Remember, the nubby side is down. And I'm going to put it about even with the neck on this one. I had my template, just sometimes you need to see if things are centered and so forth. So, alright, so my stabilizer is down on the wrong side of the t-shirt. My iron is set at the hottest setting, and I'm going to use a lot of steam. And mine doesn't, it's kind of worn out. It doesn't steam automatically, so I have to press the button. So I'm going to hold it to a count of 10 with lots of steam. Okay, move it to another place. Just keep moving to a new area so that every spot on your stabilizer, you can see when the nubs are gone. They blend into the fabric, so you can't see whereas what's not iron looks speckled, spotted. After you do this, it should look smooth. Just keep moving it to new areas. You see all the edges are tacked down now. You might want to put a pressing sheet over your ironing board. Sometimes the screen printing tends to, when it gets hot, stick a little bit. So if you're picky about your ironing board, which obviously you can see from mine's pretty spotted, I'm not, but if you are concerned about that, you can use a pressing cloth, just a piece of a sheet or something like that over top of your ironing board. Okay. Now, so here's the stabilizer on there. Now I'm going to show you how to cut it. Get my cutting board again, cutting mat. Ready to cut the square. Now lay it on with the graphic up and then center it as much as possible, side to side, top to bottom, and use the little lines to make sure it's square. Okay, so ready to cut. Rotary cutter, cut off the top, cut up the side, down this side, and then across the bottom. Make sure it all got cut. There's a little piece that didn't. Alright, so there's your first square. You see the stabilizers on the back. So this keeps it from stretching when you sew. Alright, so our first square is cut for our quilt. Only need 29 more squares. Alright, I'm going to show one more square. This time I'm going to use two of the pieces that I cut to make one, just so you can see, and to reinforce what we did before. Put it at the neckline, and then lap that one over just a little bit. Okay, and then count to 10. You can adjust your iron, your count, just so you see that when the adhesive part starts to stick to the shirt and then the little bumps are gone. Make sure the edges are done well, very well. I'll do all the shirts, then I'll come back and cut. I don't cut each one as I press it, but I did it just for demonstration purposes. Okay, we'll cut one more. graphic side up. And then center the template as much as possible. T-shirts are, sometimes the printing isn't even. You'll find that. So you do the best you can. Okay. Oops. Maybe I need to change my rotary blade. What do you think? Alrighty, so there's the next square. The stabilizer on the back, and just overlapped it a bit. Alright, I'm going to join two. These graphics are very short, so I had two shirts that had just this, so I can combine those into one square. I'm going to show you how I do that. I've stabilized each of them on the back, and then I arrange them on the mat and put my template over it to see that it's pretty evenly spaced. And then I used my chalk to make a line across there. Now I'm going to flip this one over, put it on the chalk and bring it down about 1/4 inch so I can seam it. Now it's even on both sides here. I'm going to take it to the machine. I'm going to stitch right across here. Alright, so I've stitched those together. I'm going to trim off the excess of the black here. And then I'm just going to press that seam a little bit. It's better to do it from the back side. You don't want to iron over the graphics if you can keep from it. It's all nice and flat. Now, on my cutting board, let's see what it looks like now. And on my cutting board, I'm going to lay the template. And the bottom is all I have to trim on this. So you see it's all stabilized on the back. And there's another block. But I used two shirts to make just one block. So in this way you can combine, you can utilize a lot more shirts and a lot more graphics if you combine them into blocks. And just having this on one block would be okay, but then you'd have a lot of blank space. So if you have more shirts than you have blocks, more than 30 shirts, you can combine them this way. Just going to show you one more. I haven't cut this one out yet, but here's the graphic. And she was a varsity cheerleader, and this was on her sleeve. So I'm going to use the same technique as before to combine the sleeve graphic with the t-shirt graphic and put that all on one block. So here are the two pieces of this shirt, and I just need now to trim it to the size of the template. So I'll lay that up there. Trim the bottom. Oops. Alright. And so there's another block. Now, I misjudged the stabilizer just a bit. So all you need to do when that happens is just trim a strip, stabilizer, cover that up, and do the same thing. Count to 10. It doesn't matter if it overlaps. Just gives you a little extra stability, that's all. Alrighty, so there's another block. Combine two graphics. Looks really nice. And when you quilt that, you'll hardly be able to tell that that was two separate pieces. Here's just another example of how I've combined. This was the back graphic and the pocket, and this is the deca, so I combined 3 of the chest graphics, and this one was actually a pocket on the one, and added just a little strip of fabric to make it the size of the block. So this is, I combined like 3 shirts into one block.